professed to be ethical and decent human beings, their spiritual trajectories were far from identical. "Look at those mountains over there," David entreated his friend as they marched toward their next spot on the fairway. "They are absolutely stunning, don't you think?" He stopped for a moment and wistfully stared at the evergreen-covered landmass rising high above the course. "They are so beautiful," he continued in a worshipful whisper. "Awesome!" he exclaimed loudly, hurrying to catch up with his determined compatriot. "Every time I see them, my batteries get recharged. God's handiwork gets to me every time. Aren't they something?" Michael grunted a sigh of agreement, but seemed more intent upon adding up their scores through the first half-dozen holes. His indifference did not deter David. "Hey, remember I was telling you a couple weeks ago about that short-term missions trip I signed up for with our family? The one in Central America scheduled for this fall? Well, I called the lady running the event and talked to her about the needs of the people we'd be serving down there. She had all kinds of great ideas, and I decided to see if I could get the prayer group at work to fund a pallet of clothes we could send in advance of our arrival." David was talking faster now, excited about the project he was describing. "It doesn't cost that much, and it would make a huge difference in their lives, especially the kids down there. I wanted to give the others at work a chance to participate in it, so we're pooling some money to cover the costs. I've got a couple people supervising the purchasing and shipping. You want in on this?" Michael glanced at his longtime friend, shook his head with a grin, and said, "Yep, that's you, mister. You got problems, I got solutions. Sure, why not? Put me down for whatever you think makes sense. You still slinging hash in the serving line down at the homeless shelter every week?" David nodded his affirmation and added, "It's part of my someday to be an ex-CEO social reentry plan. I want to be sure that when the board fires me, I have alternatives lined up." The duo laughed at David's self-effacing comment before he continued. "By the way, Michael, remind me to give you a book I have in the car that I've been saving for you. It's been really helpful to me, and I thought about you when I read it. It's about biblical principles in leadership. It challenged me, so I know it'll be a challenge to you." Again, both men playfully slapped at each other before Michael drew a 4-iron from his bag, tossed the case on the ground at his partner's feet, and lightly threw down the gauntlet as well. "Now, tell me, you don't honestly think you're going to take me on this hole, do you?" 2 minutes later, after hitting their approach shots, the pair strode toward the green to get in their final strokes on the hole. En route, David picked up the conversation. "You read anything revealing in the Bible lately?" Michael glanced at his partner and sighed, "Man, with the merger and that big board meeting coming up, I've been lucky to eat, much less read the Bible. How about you?" David's face took on a ponderous look. "Oh, you know how it is. There's so much. I think this past week, the big insight for me was Romans 11, the part that says we have nothing to lose by living in flagrant opposition to the world. It can strip us of our stuff, but it can never remove God's anointing and blessing. We can only lose His favor willfully by choosing to turn our back on God and His kingdom and pursuing other outcomes besides those He calls us to. I guess I felt a new sense of release to passionately seek holiness amidst the opposition of the world, remembering that I can lose only if I abandon my focus on God. It's also affecting my relationship with Bill, that guy in shipping whom I befriended after his wife and kids left him. He really needs Jesus, but he's been hurt by the church before. So I've been trying to take things slowly with him. As always," he summarized, "God seems to know just what I need when I need it, and studying Romans has been so helpful for me." Michael acknowledged the importance of David's words, but seemed distracted. Challenged by David, the younger of the two believers admitted, I focus on my faith as much as I can, but it's a struggle, you know that. All the pressures, the office, home, community responsibilities, my health. Man, I marvel that you find time to squeeze in some Bible and all the outreach stuff you do. No matter what I've said about you publicly, you're really a pretty decent guy." David mockingly smacked his peer across the head, disturbing the perfect alignment of his hair. "You meathead, your faith needs to be a priority, not an add-on. That's what you never seem to get. It's not about trying to shoehorn God into your packed schedule. It's about building your schedule around Him. That's a whole different perspective, my man, a whole different perspective." Michael appeared to be reflecting on those words when David changed the subject. "Hey, I almost forgot. The wife wanted me to invite you and your clan over next week to celebrate Jenny's birthday. We're having friends over, but you're welcome too. During one of our family prayer times last week, Jolie felt as if the Lord wanted us to have you guys join the festivities. Must be a sign from the Lord that He still loves you, you unremorseful backslider." David jumped back as Michael teasingly swung his club at the taller man's midsection. "Birthday party?" yelled Michael in mock astonishment. "That's something the heathens do. How the mighty have fallen. O Holy One of God."